Educator.
What shocked me the other day was a woman, and she was a preschool mom, and I mentioned to her about the initiative that President Trump's wife is taking.
Imagine a humanoid educator named Plato. Access to the classical studies is now instantaneous. Literature, science, art, philosophy, mathematics, and history. Humanity's entire corpus of information is available in the comfort of your home.
Wow, they're returning right back to where we were with COVID, and just seems like there's no end to this. Now she's asking for people to educate their children at home, which is okay. But again, if we're going to have a robot in the house, I don't know how wonderful that's going to be. Now, what they are talking about is that they are introducing a new idea to bring AI into the home to educate children, and the AI computer will be named Plato. Now, which is ironic about this whole thing is that Plato has already played out. Once before, Plato was here, and that was a computer system that was born way back years ago in development, even during World War II. This mainstream or mainframe computer system. Plato is the name of a famous philosopher, but as you know, they always give you double meaning when they are talking to you. Again, it's kind of like Apollo being the god of the sun, and Artemis being Apollo's sister, which is also a goddess. And so now we also have the Greek philosopher Plato, and Plato is the beginning of knowledge in terms of the Greek system. But listen, guys, it also means program logic for autonomous teaching operations. So this is what Plato is, and what Plato does. Now, of course, you might look this up and they'll say, well, it's not the same Plato. And it was that Plato was played out years ago. But this was developed here, according to this right here, was further developed by the University of Illinois, and has functioned for 4 decades. This program, which is a computerized program that will help students to do independent learning, online learning and the like. But the idea, however, came before 1944 from a GI Bill that provided free college education to World War II veterans. Higher education was limited to the minority of the U.S. population, though only 9% of the population was in the military. So the trend was towards a greater enrollment, and notably in the 1950s. Now, here's the thing: they have to get a control of education, because education, if we can get control of education, then they can control the minds of people, and controlling the minds of people is one of the big initiatives of this next generation. As I was talking to my son about this whole thing, I was sharing with him that it's important that your generation keep their autonomy, right? And that's one of the things. He's a young man going through college right now. He's the last of the Mohegans. Of course, I have a son, and so old is 44 years old. And then my youngest son, of course, is 20 years old. And so there's quite a gap in there. But he was talking to me about, some of the things that he's learning in college. And I was saying, well, make sure that they don't indoctrinate you into their way of thinking. You have to be independent. But how will they indoctrinate us? They will use these computer systems in order to do it. And First Lady Melania Trump was one of the patsies that they were using. Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude to anybody about Melania. I'm sure that she has some education on her own, but again, why would she come out with a computer, walking out with a computer on stage, on platform, and talking to us about this Plato system that they want to develop and get into our minds and our heads and everything else. And so she talks about, imagine a computer system named Plato, this computer system, right? Let me see. What are you saying on here, Honorable Harbinger? And Thomas, hello. And Paul Grigger, hello. Thank you. Paul is over across the pond. And thank God we have technology that, again, you know, that technology is being transmitted supposedly by what we call the satellites in the air. But we know that 99% of all communication goes underwater and uses underwater cables. As a matter of fact, it's been using underwater cables since before World War II. I mean, they've been using underwater cables, running a line underwater where those where all of those sharks at, and just, you know, anyway, that's how we're talking. But isn't it a miracle of technology that sound can actually travel that fast? But thanks be to God that we do have technology. Now, I'm not down on technology. All I'm saying to you, my brothers and sisters, is that this is guiding us down the path towards the beast system, right? And the first IBM computer was called the Beast. And so we're going to be coming up on a day in which this computerized world will be commandeered by a spirit of the Antichrist. And that Antichrist will come into this world and will cause all small and great to receive a mark in their hand, a forehead. And obviously you're going to receive a number, and that number will be 666. And obviously the reason it is because computers work through numbers, right? So this is one of the things that we need to be aware of. I don't know whether Melania knows this or not, but that's one of the things she's talking about. Let's go on and hear what else she had to say about all of this. And let me continue playing it here right off my channel.
And history. Humanity's entire corpus of information is available in the comfort of your home. Plato will provide a personalized experience, adaptive to the needs of each student. Plato is always patient and always available. Predictably, our children will develop deep critical thinking and independent reasoning abilities.
Now, they've been trying this for a long time. This is an old right here is an old image of them trying to use Plato and computer systems to educate the children. Now, when did that become the real agenda, or when did they actually show that this was the real agenda? It was during the pandemic. The pandemic, not plandemic. I'm sorry about that. A lot of conspiracy theorists do call it plandemic. And I certainly don't want to fit in that category, because if I do, then, you know, it could be a problem with YouTube, and I don't want to have a problem with YouTube. I just want to be able to speak plainly and get it out there. Though the pandemic. Okay, guys, you guys are mind controlling me. You are mind controlling me. I'm trying to say the right thing, to be respectful to the almighty gods of YouTube. Either way, the pandemic, that was what the agenda was when they came out. Remember, all of a sudden, everyone was supposed to, stop going to school to slow the spread. And of course, then that's when Zoom came out, and all of the rest of these people who seem to be in the corner with their computerized systems, all of these systems came into play, right? And many of them were miserable failures because, again, these days that these children were taken off from school, as you know, has caused a significant reduction in the reading ability of many of the kids, right? So all of the kids that were supposedly being at home so that they could slow the spread were missing out on so much education that when they came back, there was gaps in their learning, right? And we all know that to be true. you guys, I don't have to tell you that that's true, but I mean, you've been telling your family members, why are you going along with this? You know, and again, there were many people who paid into our academy. We had an academy. We actually had a Christian academy, guys, at one time, and now it's whittled down to become a preschool with a before and after care. And so we had a Christian academy and they destroyed that. We had a church and they destroyed that. And the result is now we have AI church and AI education system, and AI has been trying to get out there and do its thing. I just don't think that AI is going to make it, though, because I mean, once those kids find out that AI can't fight back, there's going to be a taking over the classroom. I'm going to tell you this, because I remember, you know, what it was like when I was a kid. And if we had an AI instructor sitting in the classroom with us,
Play-Doh
there would have been no way we would have been able to, you know, you've been able to get anything accomplished with this robot sitting up there in the classroom. I mean, what's to prevent the preschoolers from drawing on the face of the robot with their crayon, right? I mean, just think about it. Mom's out of the room and the kid is left alone in the room with this toy. And now I'm going to tell you this, my oldest son, Vincent Jr., man, that guy was something else when he was in the classroom. And they had to actually call me in a couple of times. And of course, I took him home and I dealt with him in the old fashioned way, right? But in the same sense, they were telling me that he's a pretty good kid. He just gets mischievous and active and all of that stuff. And I can't imagine him sitting there looking at a robot called Play-Doh. I mean, it could happen, but it just doesn't seem like it. Now they've upgraded Play-Doh. To be fair, they've upgraded Play-Doh so that Play-Doh looks a little bit more bigger now, you know. And so Play-Doh is going to come out with maybe Play-Doh's got to have like some sort of teeth or something like that. It's hard for me to imagine what Play-Doh is going to do when Play-Doh gets out there. Play-Doh has got to be a little bit more resilient, I would say. It can't come out there walking like a robot or anything like that. Otherwise, it's going to get abused. And that's just it. I'm sorry, guys. I've been in the classroom. I've taught kids, and I know when you go in there, you got to get your good bluff on, man. You can't just go in there and, all of this, that, and the other thing, letting the kids get away with murder. But I don't know, you guys, I know there's a lot of people out there, gentle parenting, you want to be gentle, and that's the way it is. But so, yeah, that's what we're looking at. And so let me get back to what I was talking about here. So anyway, so this Play-Doh is going to take over. This is going to be the computer system, I believe, is reviving the future past. And this was the idea. The idea was for you to be educated from the computer right here. Let's see if I'm going to try to turn the volume down, because I don't want to get in. Maybe YouTube might not like the volume. Somebody's playing some scary music there in the background. Let me see if I can do that there. Okay, there it is. And so this is the whole idea behind Play-Doh. Let me see if I have you guys, you can see it there. Yeah, that's the idea. And it pretty much is the way it is today. There's nothing wrong with the computer systems that we have, but they're talking about using them on these little preschoolers. It's not going to work anyway. Yeah, you eat Play-Doh. Yeah, I used to eat Play-Doh too. No, at least I would taste it. But back in my day, I'm telling you, we would eat dirt. So that was it. And so this is the history of Play-Doh. So she comes out and although ChatGPT and the rest, they are all saying that this is no connection between her ideas and the ideas of the past. But as we know that these ideas have been coming at us a long time, and this is one of the ways that Satan actually uses to cover up his agenda, which is to make us think that the old thing is not is something brand new, right? And as the Bible tells us, there's nothing new under the sun. And so this is the way it is. And so this is what we're looking at. And let's see what we got over here. Harbinger, Honorable Harbinger, you're saying that it all smells so good. Okay, all right. It smells fishy to me, Harbinger. And hit the like button. Thank you, Mama Ray. Just hit the like button. Thank you so much. Good day. Hello, how are you? And then also Daryl Cahoon. Hello, how are you? And each and every one of you out there. Thank you so much for joining me on Facebook. Those people who are on Facebook, say hello, and the people that are on Facebook, thank you so much for being aboard our Facebook program. I think I have somebody who calls me every day at the time when I'm on podcast, and I think he knows that I'm podcasting. I think he might want to get on the show. Titus, are you there?
Hi.
Yeah, this is my son, Titus. He's always calling me during the podcast, and he says that I don't pay enough attention to my live stream. So what do you have on your mind? Are you watching this about the Play-Doh or the computer system taking over the world?
No, I was asking for lunch money.
Oh, lunch money. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get you lunch money as soon as I get paid too. All right. I'll cash app. I'll cash app you, bro. All right. God bless. Okay. Bye. Boy, I'm telling you. Anyway, he's in college, so we got to help him out. God bless. All right. So anyway, yeah, like I said, hey, we are looking at this system that is come from the past, and also it is going into our future. What else is coming from the past? You guys remember that Elon Musk's father had a plan to take over the world through technocracy, right? And it was actually not his father, but you had Elon Musk's grandfather, right? And this is the way it was. Technocracy Incorporated, that was the grandfather of Elon Musk. So we know that these people have been planning to use computers and the beast system to take over the world. What's interesting about Elon Musk's grandfather is that he was put in jail for his ideas because, again, his ideas of technocracy was something that was going to interrupt the peace of humanity, right? That's what they wanted to do. They kind of wanted to take over from human beings and then have their own world that would be developed through technocracy, internet. All of this was way back in the 1940s. Way back in the 1940s, before there was even the first computer, or at least we didn't know about the first computer. It could be fallen angel technology that they already knew about that was getting ready to come. But this technocracy movement, Elon Musk's grandfather started it, and he was the founder of technocracy. And then also Howard Scott. Now, I'm not the founder of technocracy in Los Angeles, California. However, the radical conspiracy theorist, they're saying that with the Canadian chiropractor Haldeman, which is Elon Musk's grandfather, according to the deep dive in the Atlantic, they say the life of Haldeman, the Canadian chiropractor,